We'll start with what we just saw this afternoon. What did you think?
Well, but based on how we get reps right now and how we're moving so fast, we're divided fields and getting things in. So for the part of the side I was on to see us, guys on both sides of the ball, and especially on offense, they're eager. Day two, they always are. Soreness will begin to set in and all that fun. But as of now, they're eager. They played fast, made plenty of mistakes, but yet did them fast and had great attitudes and played with great effort from what I saw. And that's been a big piece of our offensive staff and the full units just discuss attitude and effort. And those things are so much further along than they were, which is certainly a great feeling. I really, we feel really good about our guys, and I love our group. And you can just tell they're so encouraged and challenge themselves and becoming self-led, which is a fun thing to see. So good start to 2 days, and got to keep on stacking days.
Curious, what do you think of Davey throwing the ball today?
We were split off. I was away from him. Yeah, a little bit unfair, but so I don't want to say anything about today. But yesterday I got to see him, and man, he threw it clean. It's coming out on time for the most part. We connected on some stuff downfield yesterday that was encouraging on some concepts that we really wanted to prove on. So that was a good start, but until I didn't get to see him as much until we watched it.
Overall, do you see an advancement from him from where he was in spring and summertime? It looks like he's worked on that a lot.
He has. He worked on his game physically and mentally, and then his body. I think you see a different. He's changed his body type some, and he's owned himself, and he's become a leader. And he knows what that means. Like I say all the time and talk to Neil about it all the time, like leadership's exhausting. It is, because you don't get a day off when you're in those modes. And that's something you learn like young and coach Gerad guy. Like it's exhausting. So the players at their age, I don't know if they realize that, and he's realizing it in a good way. And because in his position, he has to be a strong leader for us. And I think he is. And there are gifts in the ability to lead even when it doesn't go real well, which is the best part of it all. So I think he's made great strides. We really do as a staff as well.
You alluded to tomorrow. The first day is the excitement of the first day. Today's fan day. Tomorrow is kind of a day where the guys will have to kind of pick themselves up. Are you curious to see how they react tomorrow?
Yeah, always. Because, like you said, day one's day one, excitement, some anxiety, but more excitement and pace and movement. Today we had a nice little pace of seeing some faces we haven't got to see from our great fans. And now tomorrow's a little bit of a dog day, third day, where we've got a lot of reps, legs get heavy. So it'll be good to see if our guys will come out, which we expect they will, and play fast again for day 3 before we take a breather and then hit our next 3 days. So it'll be good.
Last thing, do you learn more about your team in instances like that?
Absolutely. Like any time, from our unit meetings of the wideouts that I'm responsible for and all our unit on offense and everything, anytime you can put them in a position to be challenged and have to be met with a response, whether it be negative or positive, that's the ones where you see the truth. Like anything, it goes well. When it's going well, everybody smiles, everybody's happy. It's like being at the house with the kids. And as soon as something goes the wrong way, you can see a pout and everybody ready to go home. So we want to expect them to be able to respond the right way to the bad stuff. And I think that's hopefully where we made our biggest steps.
Gerad, in terms of your receivers, obviously a lot talked about in terms of developing consistency through the spring and now. What have you seen from them? Do you think that that's coming?
Yeah, I personally do. I think that anytime you talk about them right now, like the truth, and then it's through the work. It's all we've talked about. Like the truth lies in the work. And once you remove drama and get lost in the work, you can quit focusing on negative results or any result at all, and it creates this ability to have consistency. That's all it is. The guys, they have really put in the work from January to now. They've caught over 110,000 balls. They have put in a great deal of work that they've done and charted on their own in order to get to a position where they have confidence to be able to catch the football consistently, but also handle the ugly word, called a drop. We call it a bad catch. But, it's just the ability to handle that. It's going to happen. How many happen is just all based on our mentality to be able to respond when it does.
Hey, Gerad, follow with the robot QB yet, experimented with it some, and how will you all use that during practices and during the season?
Yeah, a huge commitment by our administration to get it done. We have seen it and work with it. So the deal is, it is unbelievable at allowing our guys to save their legs and work on game-like catches. So everybody thinks that sometimes, I shouldn't say everybody, but a lot of people believe catching the football's an art by just catching the ones that are right here in our clock. And really the most difficult balls to catch are the ones that are over your head. Involve tracking the football properly with one eye and those things. That machine does that better than anything that's out on the market and allows the guys to save 10 yards, save 40 yards of running and work on downfield throws, and it drops them right on the money. So it allows our guys to work on things that they can't mimic without a quarterback. Then you have quarterbacks throwing arms out and throwing too much as well. So its biggest influence is being able to drop it in places where we can track balls over our eyes and get it in a game-like situation. It's been really good for our guys, and honestly, it's got some star value. Like, the guys think it's cool, so therefore it is, right?
Hey, Jared, to follow up on the receivers, obviously a lot of competition in that room, safe to be said on the defensive backside. So when they meet in drills like you had today, just how much more intense does that make drills, and what's the competition level you saw there today?
Yeah, you see it. The level of play goes up on both sides of the ball, so therefore everybody either rises up with it or you kind of get left behind. And right now, both rooms are in a situation where the competition's high, which does nothing but make everybody better, And anybody threatened by that, just, that's not what we want. Like, good is good, so don't worry about being threatened by being around other people that are good. Everybody's level of play go, we got, I heard the saying, high tide raises all boats, and what better true? Like, we just need to get as many good players in every room we got, and it's going to make everybody better.
Sam Brown got on the field a little bit last year. Where's he at right now?
He's right in the middle of the process of the work. He's learned how to finally get in a mode where to kind of remove some emotions of it and learn how to just bear down and play fast and work. So he's right in the middle of that fight and competing, and it's good to see him get to that place where maybe before, just because he was young, those things are harder to do when you're distracted by all the things a young player sometimes is. Now I think he's really lost in that moment of just getting to work and making plays and playing fast, and the rest will take care of itself.
What is an ideal number of reliable receivers for you in your mind? What do you need?
Yeah, good question. So here, I would say this. I think that to give you a real answer, you would love to be able to have the ability week in, week out to play with your top six, to rotate and play fast like we want to. And then the deeper you are, the better you are, because injuries and things will happen, unfortunately. But ideally, you'd love to play with six guys that you can roll out there and play fast and get through a game, especially in September when it's warm or when you go south. You want to be able to play with six, in my opinion.
Where is Prather compared to where he was in the spring? He showed some things in the spring, but now that he's got a whole summer under his belt.
Yeah, so he's much further along mentally in the knowledge of what we're doing, which allows him to play faster. Now he's at that point where the speed of it all is still a surprise to those guys. And so day one, he really came out and was almost like, hey, just take a deep breath, calm down. And day two was a lot better. My opinion would be that because he has a knowledge now of the offense, he'll continually, as camp goes, if he continues to stay with us and press what he's doing and not let outside stuff get through him and just play, it'll continue to slow down for him.
Hey, Jared, going back to Sam Brown, his high school film and stats are just kind of off the map. He did a little bit of everything. Hard to do that in college, I understand. Is that part of the process, is figuring out that there's going to be limited opportunities because you're surrounded by so many good players, and it's better to be better at one thing than three? I don't know if that makes sense, but he was so diverse.
Yeah.
Narrow it down, right?
It is, and he's also got this big, strong body. He can run and jump. He's got measurables and genetics that are off the charts. So hence the reason they did so much with him. So here, he's learned that it's much harder at times to be good at one thing, like you're saying, and not be able to do a ton. So what we've had to do is, and the consistency of practice habits and all those things, because at certain times, and I was guilty of it, you play maybe at a place and you're able to do things and maybe not have to practice all the time at this highest level to earn a spot. Whereas here, with competition and everything of a good room and an improving room, if you don't bring that every day, it's hard to get involved. So his consistency of that's what's going to allow him to use all his tools, because he's gifted beyond measure.
And then, not to play him against Prather, but Prather has what Brown didn't really have last year with the offseason in the summer and all that. Do you see a difference with Prather? And then do you see Brown benefiting where you couldn't last year with the absence of that?
Yeah, Coach Brown and all of us, I think everybody would say like how hard that was and unfair that was for our young guys coming in last year, because the physical component, but also the mental component. Like I'll say publicly, without getting too much into it, that it's very difficult to get guys ready to go when you don't know how they're going to respond to bad results or not help them respond to those. So if you think about it, we didn't have the spring and all these things to get through to help these guys get to a point mentally where they were ready to respond the right way. So if you add the mental component, physically didn't be able to prepare the same way because they were all at home, it's hard to get to that point. So you would take a Caden Prather that was here in January and got to train with Mike Joseph and the strength staff, got to be around us and literally learn the offense in a real meeting room setting and not via Zoom. I think that's a big difference in a lot of ways.
You spoke of Daggy, your other quarterbacks. What are your thoughts on them?
You know what? Garrett Green, of course, would come up second to discuss, and Garrett's just picking up from spring where he left off. Same thing. Like, so now he's got a stronger knowledge of all we're doing. Now he's just got to continue to let it slow down, keep anxiety low, and see what he sees. And I think you'll see a trend of it slowing down for him as it goes. But he's willing. He's a great dude. The guys love him in the locker room. He's got juice. Him and Daggy have a great relationship in how they share knowledge and compete with each other the right way. I think he'll continue to grow.
Curious your thoughts on the Neil's idea of split squad practices. It seems like you're almost getting 2-in-1 with the number of reps you're getting for the different groups. Now, I would guess it's going to be more work on you because now you've got to go study what you didn't see on the other side of the field. Just your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so it's a challenge because it is a 2-for-1. So the players, we're flat getting after it, and it's a split practice, but they're essentially practicing two practices together, you know, split up clearly. For us as coaches, it's our biggest challenge because we may not have done what we were supposed to on vacation, so we're a little out of shape. We got some guys we're going to have to get some insoles and things like that, but we got some crampers right now on our staff. But we're okay, but it's a challenge, and it's the right challenge. It's harder on us than it is on them, but they're running. So the lines are lighter. Reps we kind of control, and I think it's brilliant by Coach to put us in a position, especially early, to let the young guys learn fast and kind of get fed with a fire hose. And then we know more about our team quicker, so we can settle in and get ready for season.
And then you got extra work now post-practice because you got to go watch what you didn't watch before, right?
Oh yeah, this is a sprint out of here. We'll let Jordan go here, and I'll sprint out and get showered. And we got to go. So it's fast. There's a bunch of good film to watch, but it's hard. And then you got to cut it all up and watch it properly because Caden Prather can watch Bryce Wheaton do something at the same position, the same play, and be like, "Hey, did you see what he just did?" That's more of what we're thinking, or vice versa.
And on each side of the field, you're running the identical plays?
Same scripts.
Okay.
Yep.
Hey Jared, a big onus put on tight end in terms of recruiting, and with Mike out, a lot of reps to be had out there. What have you thought about the youngsters at that position?
Yeah, they're learning. I mean, it's too new to say so, but valuable reps for them to learn fast, to see where we are. Of course, the guys that have been here a little bit that you evaluate, it's good to see Banks doing what he's doing and owning some reps and really growing. And Charles Finley the same way, just starting to grow up and show up. So it'll be good for the younger ones too, with Vic and Traylon, those guys to show up and get reps that they need to grow.
Jared, in terms of trying to fold tight ends and running backs into the passing game a little bit more, how does that schematically for you working? And, you're used to maybe working with 4 wideouts, and now it's 3 or 2, and working their routes in. What's that workload? What's that job like for you?
Well, it's perfect because we build it. We really do. I mean, we do it as a staff. You know what? Chad Scott's got a really good feel for what we do with them. We just add value. We try to keep our teaching universal. So the beautiful thing is certain routes that we may run may relate to a slot or whoever it is on our wideout deal. So it's the same teaching. It makes us better. It also allows us to find ways for a guy like Letty Brown to get more touches different ways, to get him in space different ways, to keep direct hits off of him, which helps his health over a 12-game year. Those are things we value, and it's the right thing to do for him and for us as a football team. And it makes it more versatile, which clearly helps recruiting as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Coach.